Hello, and welcome to the New York City Schools Tech podcast. This is episode 3.0. My name is Nancy Ribak Altadonna, and I am the producer and host of this program. This podcast is part of the NYC Schools Tech suite, which includes our NYC Schools Tech chat on Twitter, our group on Facebook, and our year-round certification program. This program is part of our commitment to ensure students graduate from the New York City public schools with the digital skills they need to succeed. In this episode, I interviewed 4 innovative educators from the NYC Schools Tech group, and we talked about their experiences with EdTech certifications. My first guest was Sean Arnold. Sean is a special educator and STEM coach who's taught in the New York City Schools District 75 citywide special needs program since 2005. He's committed to instruction that is motivating, meaningful, and made for all students through personalized PBL and GBL that is enhanced through various EdTech and accessibility tools. Some of his awards include the 2018 ISTE Award for Outstanding Teacher Honorable Mention, the 2018 ISTE Inclusive Learning Network Outstanding Educator Award, and the 2017 NYC Schools Tech Excellence Award in Technology. He's certified in numerous tools, and we're going to talk about them today. Hi, Sean. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Nancy. I'm glad to be here and have a chance to chat with you.
The reason why I asked you to be part of this is because you have a plethora of New York City Schools Tech certifications.
Oh, certainly. Yes, a plethora.
Yes.
For me, it's always been about the needs of the students first. And so what you have to do is learn as much as you can and learn as many ways as you can to reach students. And so I began pursuing a number of EdTech certifications because I wanted to have all the tools I could for all their personalized learning needs.
Work in District 75.
Yes, District 75, it's very unique. It is New York City's citywide special education district, which has a wide variety of student needs. Yes, there's individualized schools and individualized classrooms, but there's also classrooms inside of other school buildings. There's co-teaching classrooms.
And technology is used a lot.
I mean, number one, some kids need it solely to function in the system. Accessibility tools give students who otherwise wouldn't be able to communicate at all that the ability to speak and share simply through their technology. Other students who couldn't move or click a mouse as easily now have head tracking and other modifications so that they can interact and participate in all the ways they otherwise couldn't without the technology.
How does your school district 75 utilize certified EdTech teachers?
Well, I guess myself sort of being the guru for at least my school and somewhat for the district is I do a lot of training of other teachers having been certified in all these EdTech platforms. So I turnkey what I've learned and share it with other teachers.
What EdTech certifications have you pursued?
The first one that I did long before NYC Schools Tech actually had a certification program was my Apple Distinguished Educator certification, I guess it would be called, back in 2009. Made me a part of a whole new community of educators using technology powerfully in their classrooms. And it motivated me since to help even lead trainings in Apple and Google and Microsoft and Classcraft and Common Sense Media within NYC Schools Tech. Pursuing any EdTech certification is valuable because for me specifically, my students have incredibly diverse needs from each other and from the general school population. And it behooves me to learn as much and as many tools as possible to service as many of those needs as possible. And then specifically why with NYC Schools Tech is because they literally bring the vendors to you. They bring Microsoft, they bring Google, they bring Apple and all these others in to make the process so simple and easy, and you're collaborating with other NYC schools teachers that you know and that you can get to know that'll build an internal community that can connect you to the resources and connect you to the tools and how you can best use them in your classroom in ways that they already have here in New York.
How has your certifications helped you to improve your practice and benefit your work?
Well, I think the main benefit that I've gathered is actually one that I never pursued in the first place. Being an introvert who can pretend sometimes to slightly be an extrovert, I never pursued certification to be part of a community of educators. That just was a bonus that I wasn't expecting, and it's actually become the best to connect to all these other teachers in these programs who are also wholeheartedly dedicated to pursuing their craft and to bettering themselves as teachers. And they give me so many ideas that I've been able to implement in my classroom. But not only that, it's helped me refine what I see good teaching to be and how I want to see myself as an educator.
I 100% agree with you. In fact, I had an experience with you in the EverFi Common Sense certification program at the STEM Institute in 2017. You stood out to me. You shared lots of your experience and ideas. We added it to that's a great resource. I refer back to that resource. And a lot of the things we added from the meeting notes came from people in the room.
Yeah.
Because we are a community of people and that really do want to be better teachers and more knowledgeable. And we do understand that the more knowledge that we acquire, the better our students are, the more supported our students are. So yes.
That was an awesome experience that summer. There were a lot of great people and great opportunities that I was able to connect to.
Narrow it down to one way that your EdTech and digital certifications are benefiting students and staff.
I think the biggest way that it benefits both students and staff is that becoming both certified, but simply gaining the knowledge in educational technology or technology in general, we're preparing students and teachers and giving them the requisite skills that they need to succeed in the 21st century, the 7 C's of 21st century learning. And by giving them the communication skills and the collaboration skills and the computer skills that they need to succeed not only in the present situation that they're in, but it also gives them the tools to succeed in the future and whatever that future may hold for them.
Awesome. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
It's been a fun and enjoyable and informative experience too. This has been a real hoot.
Our next guest is Cindy Wong. Cindy is an elementary tech teacher at PS 41 in Bayside, Queens. She loves testing out new tools in her computer lab and has dot and dash robots. She received EdTech certifications from BrainPop, Microsoft, PBS Learning Media, and Google. After receiving her badge in Google Certified Educator Level 2, she joined the NYCSchoolsTech trainer team to train many teachers. She's also presented at the past 3 NYCSchoolsTech Summit. This year, Cindy is a Community Builder Fellow for CS for All, one of the Chancellor's Equity and Excellence initiatives to spread culture of computer science to teachers, parents, and students throughout Queens.
Pursuing EdTech certification for me is about professional growth and my passion to keep learning and keeping up to date with my students. If those goals are relatable, then I would say go for it. I feel my role as a technology teacher is even more important now because so much has changed in EdTech, especially in the past 10 years. So our teaching methodology and style should be flexible and should change with it. And I think the exciting perks of NYC tech certifications are the badges you earn and a reason to trek to the city, especially since my school is in the suburb. So it's like being in the city is a lot different, and also the great people you meet along the way.
So what do you do with your badges?
You can display them under your signature in your email.
Is there kind of a competition?
I think there probably is one going on. Everyone's very competitive.
I love it.
Yeah.
But how does your school or your district utilize certified EdTech teachers?
Our school and district have certified teacher offer professional development. They can support colleagues and speak at workshops. After using Google products in my classroom and seeing how effective and productive it was, I was asked to give workshops on Google Suite, such as slides, forms, and even classrooms.
So what EdTech certifications have you pursued and are you pursuing right now?
Well, first off, teachers should sign into the School Hub or Sandbox and check out the partnerships available. This semester, there's like Donors Choose, Codester, Newsella, and many more. But in particular, I want to sign up for Kahoot and Common Sense Media. So if you haven't heard of Kahoot, it's a game-based platform. It's very engaging and interactive, and the students wouldn't even realize that they're learning.
They love it.
Yeah.
I use it. Yeah.
Even adults love it.
It is fun.
Common Sense Media it has a very comprehensive digital citizen curriculum, and I think students need to learn how to be good digital citizens, differentiate between fake news and real, balance their media use, and be responsible for the contributions on the internet. The first EdTech certification that I pursued was Brain Pop back in, I think, 2015. And ultimately, the fun part was getting to tour the office. I got to see where Tim, Annie, and Moby were created. So that was pretty cool.
How have the certifications improved your practice or your career?
Well, I think the biggest advantage of being a part of the NYC Schools Tech group is the community. Being able to reach out to any member of our Facebook group and hanging out when we see each other at tech events have been very valuable. At our recent Google Educator Group meetup during the Tech Summit, we came up with some breakout group ideas for the year, like maybe discussing ISTE standards, Google CS First clubs, using VR or AR, ideas that can benefit educators that they can take away and even implement the next day is most helpful. I've also met so many smart and awesome people that have contributed to my practice. Most recently, I want to credit Ellen Goodman, who told me about Donors Choose and got me to post a project. That's where my students benefited from receiving Osmo kits and robot mouse kits, so they have something tangible to tinker with as they build computer science skills.
She is great. She was on my last
that's
podcast.
Awesome.
Would you share one way that EdTech and digital certifications have benefited your students and your staff?
I think it has benefited the students and staff in many ways. It brought creativity to the learning and teaching process.
Is there a certification that you're pursuing right now?
I will be applying for the Kahoot and Common Sense Media one.
Okay.
Right now I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things.
I know. It is the first week of school. There's no tired like the first week of school tired.
Yeah, September is very challenging.
It is.
Yeah, especially being a mom. I
know.
The other thing about being passionate about professional growth is also like how to be a very good mom at the same time. And I kind of feel like there should be a community of this because sometimes I'm like, am I doing all of this correctly? Yeah.
I know. Next on the NYC Schools Tech podcast is an interview that I did with Steve Borba.
My name is Steve Borba. I currently serve as the tech coordinator, computer science teacher, and data specialist at PS 175 in Harlem, New York. Most recently, as of this summer, I've been part of the teacher trainer fellowship with the Computer Science for All movement. I am currently pursuing a master's in digital media design for learning through NYU's Steinhardt program that's based in their game design campus in Brooklyn. I'm not really decorated insofar as awards that are available in this circuit because I'm kind of newer on the scene. But as far as some of the certifications that I have, I am a Google Level 2 certified educator. I do have Soundtrap certification and Common Sense digital citizenship educator certification. I don't even think I'm getting the names right at this much because I don't do a good job as far as collecting these things into sort of a more visual repertoire, but I've gone through the process of at least earning those certifications throughout the past couple years. I've done the Brain Pop Educator certification. What else? Codesters. A lot of the things that have been made available through the IPPD programs that Lisa Nielsen's made available to DOE employees.
Great. So why would you advise someone to pursue an EdTech certification?
I think at its most in sort of its most basic understanding, it does make life easier for teachers if they're willing to embrace it and learn it. I think it does a lot also insofar as opening up means of sort of newfound creativity for teachers to be able to connect their content to other pathways for students, to be able to incorporate technologies that in a lot of ways may seem obstructive to some classroom teachers if they don't realize the means of being able to integrate them thanks to some of the certifications that are available. I think it just sort of, it turns into a whole new tool set that sort of exponentially builds on itself as you realize what's made available and how a lot of these things sort of cross-reference one another.
So how does your school utilize your certifications or your
So
district?
we attempt as often as possible to do early year rollouts and early year turnkeys with some of the certifications that are available. A lot of times we have to pitch the product itself to teachers so that at least they're aware of what's within sort of the arsenal of something like Brain Pop or what's available thanks to the Common Sense Educator Network. But also in our case, it's a matter of just arming other teachers to be able to spread the word among their grade band. Along with some of the EdTech certifications, we're also part of the Software Engineering Junior program that the city offers, SEP Junior. So alongside some of the EdTech certifications, our teachers are already aware of some of the developments in the world of engineering at the elementary school level, computer science offerings at the elementary school level. So for us, it goes hand in hand as technology gets utilized more frequently for some of those instructional aims to be able to have some of these additional certifications available to then deepen that knowledge of how to access those tools and then deploy them to students. For me, the biggest benefit to pursuing those certifications is being able to access the network of other people that are doing it, along with some of the other DOE educators that I've met through the certifications that I've pursued. I've also met people from outside organizations, like specifically to the Soundtrap certification. I met people from an organization called Building Beats, which do a lot of work around music workshops within schools, with a lot of people that are either trained musicians or that have some experience in music production. So I'm able to bring people that are professionally pursuing interests specific to some of these certifications and specific to some of these platforms, and then bring them into an educational setting. Being able to just meet other people and go through some of those preliminary steps alongside somebody else and then get a better feel for what it is that they do professionally is a really big help to me. I think it does a lot as far as establishing longer-term relationships than I might at a more general PD in some cases. For something that's just sort of content-driven or subject-driven, where I might meet people across different grades or I might meet people that are coming from different boroughs. It's one thing for it to be centered around something like math or even just like a larger conference where I'm going to meet people on sort of a touch-and-go basis. To be able to have a more intensive period of time with one platform, with somebody who's there specifically because their interest drove them there. It makes a big difference when you have to convince your administration of why something is important to you rather than your administration having to convince you that you should be interested in something else. It's helped me get a better grasp of the landscape, how it is that education itself is evolving alongside the technological advancements that are happening and that are becoming more accessible to those of us that are in education. I think for a long time that division seemed a lot wider between what was happening, what was coming out of Silicon Valley, etc., and how a lot of those developments in either the startup world or in the tech world were not necessarily educationally focused at first. And then as teachers became more aware of how they could get the most bang for the buck with a lot of those tools, the people that were responsible for making them kind of wisened up and realized that there was a whole platform of people that would be willing to deploy this to sort of the next generation of professionals. In my case, it's just sort of, it's made me realize that what you can learn about what you teach is much bigger than your classroom or your school or your district. It's something that's a lot more globally connected. It's something where the moment you learn to bring some of these tools into your room and into your school, you start to learn from other people that share successes that they have that could be several hundred miles away, that could be several thousand miles away. So there's a whole reservoir of ideas that is a lot more close at hand than it might have been prior to a lot of these EdTech certifications. There's a lot of work that we're doing insofar as finding ways to take the maker culture that is very much a part of our district and our borough, thanks to Lori. Lori's maker cohort has gained a lot of steam in our area. not even as something that's done separate to core instruction, but that is something that's more deeply integrated in core instruction. We were a part of a robotics program called Face Lab that brought parents into the classroom to be able to teach robotics alongside teachers, and it was very important that that was done during the instructional day, because I think a lot of the problems that we have is convincing parents that this is something that needs to be done in tandem with reading, math, science, social studies, things that they're used to seeing for the past 30 or 40 years. We're trying to help our community and our parents and our students as well take more seriously the idea that all of these initiatives around EdTech, all of these initiatives around computer science, maker culture are effectively the things that are going to build those, buzzword 21st century skills that they will need as they grow up and as they start to enter the workforce or consider what their place in the workforce might look like.
Our final collaborator for this program is none other than NYCSchoolsTech chat moderator Eileen Lennon. Eileen's part of the team that developed the social media guidelines and resources for the NYC schools. She received certifications such as EdTech Expert from NYC Schools Tech Partners, Microsoft, Google, Common Sense, Everfi, and a few others. She is an award-winning educator who's recognized for the most innovative use of social media. Eileen is the host of the NYC Schools Tech Chat.
It's a monthly Twitter chat that we host the first Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock, and we discuss various topics regarding technology through the New York City Board of Ed.
This month's theme is the same as this month's podcast. Why would you advise someone to pursue an EdTech certification?
It benefited me in that I became a better user for all the products that I became certified in, and it also qualified me as a teacher that could teach the subjects.
How does your school or your district benefit from having certification?
Administration sees that I'm serious about my subject, that I go the extra mile, and that I get certified in all these resources, shows them that I'm an engaged teacher. And it goes towards my evaluation at the end of the year, that I have gone above and beyond. It would affect your rating at the end of the year. But it also shows them you're a conscientious teacher staying on top of technology, which is the subject that you have to stay on top of. So if you are engaged and you are a responsible technology teacher, it's almost your duty to be certified in some basic resources. I am Google certified level 2. I am Microsoft certified, and I'm an ambassador for Common Sense Education and for Everfi. There's a few more, but those are the top 4.
I had been in your Common Sense certification class at STEM Institute in 2017.
That exposes teachers from every subject, not just technology, and it's our responsibility to create digital citizens from our students. I feel that certification is crucial to every teacher to get.
It is Media Literacy Month in November. Is it Everfi that has something new on this?
Yes. Everfi rolled out a few different programs. The Compassion Project is for grades 2 to 4, I believe. They have digital citizenship modules and empathy modules. Those are important. Common Sense, their curriculum just has covered it since day one, and they're just getting better at it every year.
I was in San Antonio, Texas for a week during the summer. My parents have AT&T. I was going through the channels, and Common Sense is one of their channels.
Wow. That's amazing.
But I was just flipping out. So my husband and I were reading through the teacher reviews, and they're on television.
To talk to Common Sense and say, why don't we have this? Oh, I can't believe that exists, and why don't we have it? That's part of certification. Because you're working directly with the resource, you get to know the people that work for that company. I have a handful of names at every different resource that I can directly contact and get answers, or they love to hear suggestions. They love feedback from the teachers that are actually using the products. So that the certification is a two-way street. They love getting feedback from teachers, and their product just gets better because we give them the feedback from the classroom.
I agree, and I am also seeing that firsthand with Soundtrap, and also with PBS. Yes, they respect teachers. They need teachers.
I spoke to one of the representatives from a company, and they said, if a salesperson comes in and tells the teacher what a great product it is, we listen with half an ear. But if another teacher comes in and tells you it's a great product, you actually really listen. They really encourage teachers to become certified just because we represent the product better than their salespeople.
Do you have a specific story how a certification has been instrumental?
I was picked to be an EverFi ambassador. There's only about 12 in the country, and they flew us to Washington, D.C. over the summer overnight. And the whole company was sitting there taking notes about everything that we said.
Wow.
There were 12 of us sitting there, and they were asking us questions, how we used it, what we thought of everything. They wanted to know every single thing we thought, and they wrote down everything, and they recorded us, and we felt like the wealth of information that they had been looking for. So it was an honor, of course, but we were really listened to. It said so much about that company that they were so concerned with how their product is being used and how they can make it better. So it was a very collaborative space, and it was a wonderful experience.
Can you tell our listeners how they would go about becoming certified through NYCSchoolsTech?
Just have to look a little deeper. Lisa Nielsen is always pushing out opportunities. We have a fall semester and a spring semester. The Facebook page always has a list of what's coming up, what certifications are available. We discuss them during the Twitter chats. All you have to do is reach out a tiny bit and you will be inundated with information about all the different certifications that are available.
And dig in our sandbox.
Yes.
Great.
Digging in our sandbox. I never thought about it.
Well,
mind if I use that, right?
hashtag it's cool with me. Hashtag NYCSchoolsTech is all about sharing. That's why we're here.
It is. We're a very generous group. Whenever we have our gig meetups, that's Google Education Group. It's once a month at Google. Everyone just comes with their best practices, and we just can't wait to share and learn from each other. It's a very collaborative space, and that comes from certifications also. We're always trying to better ourselves because we look at what everyone else around us is doing, and we want to be worthy of the crowd that we're hanging around with.
Well, you definitely are. I want to thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast today.
You're very welcome, as always.
Our monthly NYCSchoolsTech chat happens on Twitter at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the first Thursday of every month. This podcast is another way in which we highlight, support, and encourage educators to form connections with others and create powerful learning networks for themselves and their students. Thank you for listening to episode 3.0 of the NYCSchoolsTech podcast hosted on Soundtrap. I'm Nancy Ribak Altadonna, and I'd like to give a huge thanks to Sean Arnold, Cindy Wong, Steve Borba, and Eileen Lennon for sharing a wealth of EdTech knowledge. NYCSchoolsTech would like to leave you with one final thought. Work hard and be nice. Take care of your eyes and your body. For every 30 minutes that you're looking at a computer screen, stand up, stretch, and look away for at least 30 seconds. All right, we're just looking out for you.